Golair, and welcome to the Loaf of B GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind.
Hello, Diegwich, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa, guten tag and privyet to you all wherever you're listening in. What started as a message to 10 clubs has now expanded to more than 50 clubs globally from all continents. The journey through Loaf 2 GAA Global continues this week as we move on to our next destination in the GAA world. So come with me on the GAA journey of a lifetime and meet clubs from Canada to Argentina, South Africa to Gibraltar, Bermuda to the North Pole, New Zealand to Kuwait, Knoxville to Qatar, and literally everywhere in between. So grab the passports, grab the bags, it's time to go. Djen Dob-ray, everyone, and you're welcome to Slice 5 of the Loaf of B GAA podcast. On Slice 5 of GAA Global, we fly from our friends in St Albans across the short journey to the beautiful and historical Poland. Our journey brings us to Cumann Warszawa GAA, in the heart of the so-called Land of Fields. I had the opportunity to chat to 3 Irish students who study veterinary in the capital Warsaw. Luke from the Wee County of Louth, Shane from the mighty Mayo, and Bronagh from the beautiful Garden County of Wicklow. All 3 are still heavily involved in the club at present. We chat all things Poland and Ireland, including the changing nature of the club in Warsaw given its heavily student makeup, being the only GAA club in the country at the moment, rivalries around Europe and the European Games with teams like Vienna and Berlin, talk of a GAA club in Bielstock starting, and of course some of the vital questions like Polish alcohol versus Guinness, local sausages or Superquinn ones, how would Robert Lewandowski compare with some GAA names, and of course the tough choice, former Poland soccer goalkeeper Pope John Paul II or Father Ted Crilly. But first, as usual, let's take our trip around the phenomenal Polish capital of Warsaw and the country in general. Bon Soltas. Today we arrive into Warsaw Chopin Airport, just as the great musical maestro himself plays us his famous Fantasy Impromptu. The capital of Poland is steeped in history along the Vistula River. It was around the 16th century that the city grew after it became the home of the royal court, moving from the other big city, Krakow. It was King Sigismund III who made the change. The man himself has had more transfers than Robbie Keane, moving from being King of Poland to Grand Duke of Lithuania, as well as being King of Sweden and the Duke of Finland. The Polish state of 1795 lasted until the country was brought into the midst of World War I in 1914. Germany would take over Warsaw in 1915 and remain there until the end of the war. It was at the 11th hour and the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918 that World War I officially ended with the armistice. But despite the German occupancy being over, the peace barely lasted, as in 1919 the Poland-Soviet War broke out over the land make-up after World War I. The significance of this war is perhaps underestimated, as the ability of the Polish to defend themselves against the famous Bolshevik workers' and peasants' army of Soviet Russia, known as the Red Army, stopped the spreading of communism into mainland Europe. All of this happened as the city of Warsaw attempted to redesign itself structurally. Not only was rebuilding needed, but urban sprawl of some kind had to be done, as the city was more condensed and overpopulated than London was. But of course, we all know what happened next. Although the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 had put an end to Germany after World War I and forced them into paying reparations, a political party we heard about in Slice 3, the Nazi Party, came to rise under a man named Adolf Hitler, originally from Austria. Having begun with the Deutsche Arbeitspartei in 1919, and seeing his chance to play to the audience of German people suffering from the consequences of the Great War, Hitler made his move and the Nazi Party of Fascism came to power in 1932 as the largest group. What it meant for Warsaw would become clear some years later, when on the 1st of September 1939, the now dictator and Chancellor Adolf Hitler, defying all leaders globally and all sanctions of Versailles, invaded Poland in an act which began World War II. The city survived for just over 3 weeks before Nazi rule began, and all the Jewish people of Warsaw were moved to a newly created Warsaw Ghetto. The word ghetto comes from the Italian city of Venice and translates as a foundry, a place of metalwork. One of these existed in Venice in the past, and thus the name was adopted. But while countries planned their next move, Now realising the idea of appeasing Hitler was perhaps the most ridiculous move in history, Jewish residents of Warsaw and Poland were being train-loaded to extermination areas known as concentration camps, at places like Treblinka. This process continued as the World War raged across the continents. As Hitler ordered the ghetto in Warsaw to be destroyed along with all the people in it, the Jewish community fought back and for a month or so were successful. Sadly, their lack of weaponry cost them, and almost all remaining souls were slaughtered at the hands of the SS guards. By the time the war ended in 1945, 6 years and 1 day later, Warsaw was in ruins. Only some of the original Old Town Warsaw was restored, with much of the city rebuilt and reshaped for the future. The Old Town today in Warsaw is one of the nicest places you can ever go. There's something about standing in the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Centre Square Marketplace, Rynek Starego Miasta, that is unique. Of course, the city never forgets the horrors of the Second World War, and these people are remembered in memoria through the likes of the Monument of the Ghetto Heroes and the Uprising Monument. Many famous faces from the city have left their mark on the world, including the music you hear from Mr. Chopin, scientist Marie Curie, and former President Lech Kaczynski, who died sadly in a plane accident in 2010 in Russia. In sporting terms, Poland has moved to become a major force in world soccer, boosted by the likes of modern-day stars from Warsaw such as Wojciech Szczesny and the immensely talented Robert Lewandowski.
Sané with the shot, it's going to fall for Lewandowski! Yes! And finally he does it! Yeah. The record they said would never be broken is now his and his alone! 41 goals in a single Bundesliga season! Robert Lewandowski!
The country produces people at every sport, such as F1 driver Robert Kubica, ski jumper Kamil Stoch, tennis star Agnieszka Radwanska, and UFC women's star Johanna Jędrzejczyk. Legia Warsaw and Polonia Warsaw would be the main city rivals across many sports. Legia have appeared in the Champions League, but also holds the record of being the most successful Polish soccer club in history, with 38 major domestic titles to date. They threatened Champions League qualification at the beginning of the 1990s, but always fell at the qualifiers. That was until 95-96, when they beat IFK Gothenburg of Sweden, to enter the groups against Spartak Moscow, Rosenborg of Norway, and Premier League champions Blackburn Rovers. Today on the Legia team they boast one familiar goalkeeper in Polish icon Artur Boruc, formerly of Celtic, Southampton, Bournemouth and Fiorentina. On the GAA side, Cumann Warszawa started in 2010. Cumann Warszawa is the first ever Gaelic club from Poland. It was officially founded by a group of Irish people, Dubliner Colin Murphy, the man from the banner Owen Sheedy, Cork man Owen Vaughan, and the woman from Wexford, Janet Fleming. The club has had some notable success, but probably their biggest achievement was victory at the Pan-European Championships. The club would go on to beat teams like Frankfurt and Belgium, and then in the final they took on Prague, where the game went to penalties. Prague had already beaten Cumann Warszawa in the opening game of the group stages, and the victory was a notable success for the Polish club. And even as they say the COVID has caused major problems, the club remains alive and well as the only current club in the country. So whether it's eating a nice pizza dumpling or some wusetka cake for dessert, or simply taking in the beauty of the city, Warsaw certainly has something for everyone. And so to the legends of Cumann Warszawa keeping the Irish flag flying in Poland, Wicklow Lady Bronagh, Luke from Louth, and Mayo man Shane.
Hello. Hello.
How are things?
Good.
How's all out there? Or whereabouts are you at the moment actually?
Both in Warsaw. Yeah.
Alright, not too bad.
I'm sure. It's not bad now at the moment. We're finished class, like, so
yeah.
We're just kind of holiday mode nearly, just getting ready to go home.
Yeah. Whereabouts are the two of you from originally?
I'm from Mayo. I'm from Louth.
Oh Jesus. God help the two of you.
Worse and worse.
I'm from Westmeath though, so I can't say a whole lot to be honest. So.
Whereabouts Westmeath are you from?
Mullingar.
Oh, very good. Right.
You probably know someone from Mullingar. Most people that have come on seem to know someone randomly from Westmeath somehow. So.
Yeah, I actually know a few people there.
Yeah.
A few cousins and that live in Mullingar, yeah.
Oh, have you? Oh, not too bad, yeah. They could do worse, I suppose. They could live in Louth. That'd be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Hi, Brad. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for having us on.
Not at all. Are you in Warsaw as well, or?
No, I'm back at home in Ireland now, but I'm heading over there on Thursday.
Oh, nice. So, Where's home in Ireland?
I'm in Wicklow.
Oh yeah, not too bad. Nice spot.
Yeah,
Better than Louth and Mayo anyway. So.
Easy now.
This is the theme of the podcast page. It's just where I bring on people just to abuse them about their counties. So yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, thanks very much, Ash, for coming on. Look, I won't keep you too long. It's been going. This is kind of taken off a lot more than I expected it would. So yeah, you guys are representing the entire of Poland at the moment. So to be honest, I haven't. You guys might be able to tell me different after, but I haven't come across any other Polish clubs that seem to have any kind of following on Instagram or anything. So you guys were the chosen ones. Is that what you want to call yourself, maybe for now? So yeah, how did you guys? I suppose we'll start with the lads with the top first. How did you guys end up there in the first place? Was it work or?
Well, the majority of students out here, or the majority of people that play with the club out here, probably 90% or more, are all vet students.
Right.
So we've all been here. We're in our fourth year, so we've been here 4 years. Well, we're into our fourth year. So I suppose it was started by guys working about 10 years ago. By lads that worked in Poland, or they don't anymore. And there was 3 or 4 guys that came up with the idea to start a club, and they got linked in with the college. And since then, it's kind of been students that really have kind of taken up the mantle of it and have ran the club over the last number of years. But only for the lads now, whatever 10 years ago, there probably wouldn't be a club. So thankful for them.
Yeah, it's deadly. Yeah.
Our committee at the moment is made up completely of students. We're all students. That's our whole committee. So it's like a conveyor belt nearly every 5.5 years, and it's just a constant change. It's great. Everyone looks after the club, and everyone looks out for each other here. So it's great.
Yeah. That's deadly. Yeah. So, brother, what's the lady side like?
Yeah, the lady side, I'm going to say, is better than the lad side. We just have a lot more girls coming through as vets. So there's a lot more, I'd say, probably more girls players on the football team, which is really good for the girls. But yeah, a lot of girls, and we'll just keep going.
Deadly, yes. And what were the early days like for the three of you starting out? Who were the teams that you would have come up against?
My first tournament was in Rome. It was actually this weekend 3 years ago.
No way.
It was again. We were in Rome playing Lazio. Was the home team that had organising it, and I think Vienna were there as well. And Vienna, there was always a big rivalry down through the years. The older lads were always saying, "Oh, Vienna were the ones to beat."
Right.
And we have the right pace in that day.
Brilliant.
That same year, then in the Pans, we played Amsterdam. Amsterdam were very good that year. We lost by a point, and last year we lost to Madrid. In the 2019 Pans, we lost to Madrid by a point as well.
Oh.
We'd have a strong team. We'd always have a strong team. We'd have a young team, but we're always thereabouts.
Deadly, yeah. When you say it's, I just come back. When you say it's all vet students, are they all? Is there an international kind of feel to it, or is it mostly Irish?
So the majority is Irish, but we leave it open to anybody that wants to try out GAA or wants to take part. We've had previously, he played with the club for 5 years. His name was Hampus. He was a Swedish guy. He's brilliant. He just took to football naturally, I suppose, and was good. And we had another guy, Vish. He was English, and we've had a few English people play. We'd a few guys from India that trained a few times. They gave it a go. We've had people, because we're in an international college, there's always someone that comes along and gives it a try at least once, and if they don't like it, it's up to them. But a few people have played with us over the years and come on tournaments and whatnot. But even Irish people that don't generally play football at home have actually picked it up out here, which is kind of, it's a bit ironic that they wouldn't play it in Ireland. They gave it a go out here. So
Yeah, it's a bit mad because the standard, like, that I've chatted to from the club so far, the standard is as high as like it is at home. So it's kind of funny that they take it up when they wander out abroad. What's the women's side like, Bronagh?
Yeah, the women's side is actually really good. So my first year playing, my first tournament abroad was in Maastricht, and we ended up winning the European Pans that year in the senior league. Yeah, so that was really good. And then my next tournament was in Vienna, and we came second. Yeah, and we were beaten by Berlin by a few points. Okay. So Berlin are up as well. They're a good side to be against.
Yeah, one of my old neighbours here, actually, he was on the Berlin team up until he moved home recently enough. Yeah, I've heard all about them. So, yeah, well, have either of you, the men's or the women's, did you get to go to the World Games in Waterford in 2019 or anything?
No.
No, we had a few members that did go.
Yeah.
They played with other European teams. But we would love to have gone, and our chairman at the time was pushing for a men's and a ladies team to go. But the thing for us is, in normal times, which they were during the World Games, the 3 months of the summer is our only time at home.
Yeah.
So it's our time to work and everything, and to just to be at home. So it was bad timing, really. Now, if it was in the middle of college, we'd have been there.
For first on the plane out, yeah. It wasn't you guys, your members then, who, because I'm still trying to locate, there's a great story, the World Games, of one of the teams got on the wrong bus, and I'm still trying to find who they are. I haven't located them. We had a few clubs that heard the story. When you got there were free buses down to Waterford, but one team accidentally.
I think that was the JF Travel or something, was
it?
I think it was JF Travel. They were all waiting at the airport.
Yeah.
And got on a wrong bus and went to, was it Cork or something?
Yeah, someone got on the wrong bus, and then another team, it's not you guys, but another team came with no hurls and gave the bus and driver a few quid to go by Paulstown in Kilkenny to pick up a few hurls along the way, which I don't know who they are either. Yeah. I'm trying to find who either of them are. So what's the celebrations like, or have you got a local area that you kind of go to more so after wins or defeats?
Yeah, I suppose we hosted our own tournament here. Was it 2018? 2019 in maybe April or May or that, and we had I think we'd up to 10 teams there from ladies and men's, and we just brought them into, we had organised a do after in, where do we have the meal?
We had a meal in the boathouse.
Yeah, we had a meal in it's a place called the Boathouse, and it's kind of a function room along the main river in Warsaw. And we done kind of a bit of crack, meal, bit of drinking, and then we brought them elsewhere into the city then to a place called Maculatora. It's basically a nightclub in Warsaw, and we more or less rented that out for the night, and done all our presentations of the tournament and that, which we actually won that tournament. So we're kind of like handing each other
the most Father Ted job ever.
Yeah, it was a bit.
We won that tournament, but it was no thanks to the man sitting to my right hand side now.
Right.
Mitch is our goalie, and the training session before the tournament, he'd actually said to me, I'd play in the full back line. He said to me, I gave away a penalty in the previous tournament, and he warned me not to give away a penalty. And we were 2 points up, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah, 2 points.
2 points up coming into the last few minutes of the final in our home tournament. And this man decided it was a great idea to charge out and drag down.
Well, he's through on goal because he left in for us.
So our corner forward had to go in goals. And we ended up being 2 points down coming into the last minute of the game. And we ended up getting a penalty. And our goalie, who was our corner forward, had to come forward and slot it. And there's a great picture of this man on the side. Very alert. Fair to watch.
If you have that photo, I'd like to see that photo. If one of you has it,
we'll get to that photo.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So, Luke, you got sent then, did you?
I did. I got a straight red because the referee actually a day before the tournament, I happened to pick him up from the airport and was chatting away to him, and he was telling me of how he doesn't tolerate any like, I suppose, rugby contact is the way I think but he happened to be referee in that final, and I don't think I hadn't even got off the ground, and he had the card out, like, so. It was sent straight to the sideline.
How did he get back to the airport?
It's still unknown.
It wasn't with you anyway, yeah.
No, definitely not. I don't think it could have bared a 40-minute car journey with
brilliant.
The lad that sent me out. So
that is brilliant.
Sure, I'm not just over at 6 o'clock in the morning anyway.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Bronagh, do the ladies set up kind of mix in, or are you keeping your superiority separate?
It would be the men's team and the the women's team. Yeah. We celebrated. We went to the boathouse, like the lad said, and I think both girls' teams won that day as well. So yeah, it was good celebrations. We were from the venue and then out to the nightclub after. It was good crack. Yeah.
Is it a proper Irish night out where there's people afterwards falling on the street, and is it a real Irish night out, or? Yeah, I can see Lucas nodding his head. He's like, yep.
Yeah. I suppose when you bring Irish people from all over Europe to one place, that, they just kind of want that sense of being out in the street in Dublin or in Drogheda or Westmeath even.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all mental, it's all the Irish songs are on and you're jumping up and down, and then as the night goes on, numbers start fading away a bit.
Yeah.
But I know it is. It's great crack. It's you nearly you'd be playing football all day, but when you because the tournaments ran just over one day, you play 4 or 5 matches in the day. But I think everybody just towards the end of it, whether you're still in it or not in it, you're just looking forward to getting out.
Yeah.
And people have had enough of the football and enough of the hardship, I suppose, and they just want to go out and have a good time.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Do you guys have I know you're talking about, Shane, you're talking about going to Rome and all that. Is there more of a local kind of setup that you can play in as well, or is it very much you're waiting for other cities to come along?
Europe is kind of divided up into different regions, and to qualify for the PANs, you have to play a certain amount of games every year, and you have to win your regional tournament, or get a certain amount of qualifying points. That's how it's done. I know you were saying you were struggling to make contact with Polish clubs, probably because we're the only Polish club at the moment. So I know there is another club to be set up or in the pipeline in Bielstock.
Okay.
In the north of Poland.
Yeah.
Now that could take a while to come to fruition or whatever. So at the moment, our closest neighbours will probably be Berlin, and we're hopefully, when things get back to normal, we'll have a tournament or a challenge weekend against them. They're one club too.
Beat the shit out of them. Yeah, I can sense it in your voice. Yeah, you're out to kill them. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So Bronagh, what it's the same for you guys?
Sorry, I lost.
No, you're grand. Don't worry about your fine. Is the setup the same for you guys then?
Yeah, more or less. We train together every once a week with the lads as well. And I feel like training with the lads has kind of made the women's team a lot stronger, because it's probably more physical and more competitive, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be the same setup.
And what kind of home ground wise do you guys, are you a lot of the clubs around Europe where it's just a local park, kind of get council permission, that kind of thing, or do you have a home venue as such?
At the moment we have every Wednesday we can use we have an indoor hall facility that we can use, and we all train there, just because the weather in Poland does be quite bad during the winter.
Oh, I know.
At least we can guarantee a training session once a week, whether it is just running in a hall, a few ball work. Yeah. And then I'll let the lads talk about the new pitch we're hoping to set up now.
Oh, nice.
So on the main campus, there's we'll say, we won't even call it a pitch, but it's a patch of grass that is it's fairly big, but there we were lucky enough, we got a grant from Croke Park over a year ago anyway, and we put that money towards full-size goalposts to be delivered out here. And unfortunately, with the way COVID and everything worked out, they've been kind of sitting in our back garden here for a while.
Right.
But we're hoping to get that kind of area set up into a pitch with obviously the college's permission. There's probably a lot of bureaucracy to do with it as well, but because the colleges, they take because it's such a minority of people in GAA, I don't know if they'd be very accepting of giving us a full patch of grass just to play football. So the goalposts are on wheels though, so that might help a little bit. But we were planning on, so as I said, it was 10 years since the club was founded, and we were hoping, we were supposed to have a 10-year anniversary kind of do, where we invited back past players, like say vet students that have qualified and are gone home, and we had planned to bring them out. Then during the day, set up like a kind of a match between past and present players, and then we were going to put the invitation further to like the Irish community in Warsaw, so people with families and that, and then maybe if there was like families with children, to bring the children to the area, and we showed them a bit about football and that, and then obviously have a do. We had originally booked a hotel in the city, like a big function room for the evening to have a do there, but obviously then COVID kind of got in the middle of that, so we're planning on doing that. Maybe October of this year is when we kind of got it pushed out to, because we're hoping by the time that comes around that there'll be a lot of vaccines gone through and people will be comfortable travelling and all that kind of thing. So
yeah, that sounds deadly. Yeah, I have to ask, just since you mentioned families coming with kids and stuff, it's probably a lot to ask, I suppose, for you guys being students as well, but is there any possibility down the line of like a kids, breeding for the future type thing?
Yeah. We I know once a year there's it's called the Bielstock. It's like an Irish get together, the Irish Chamber of Commerce here in Warsaw, and a few members of the club every year usually go, and they bring all of the kids out, do a little training session. And we had planned at the 10-year at the half time to get those kids to do a little challenge match themselves at half time. Like you'd see in the half time in Croke Park or whatever. It's down the line. Hopefully, if the club continues to grow, it'd be great to get an underage setup going. But as you said, with us being students, it is a bit difficult.
Yeah, it's tricky enough, I suppose.
We'd love to break out of the kind of student-focused club as well, because if we had someone that was living here and we kind of knew that they'd been living here fairly permanently, it'd be grand to have a few people like that in the club that could maybe, with the help of everyone in the club, to try and set something up like that. But it's kind of hard to get someone. We're fairly outside the city centre, which is where the majority of the community lives. So we're about 20 minutes outside the city. So, and Warsaw is a big city, so there is a nice bit of travelling involved if there was people coming, because it's quite difficult and expensive to find other like halls or football pitches. I know I play rugby with a club in the city, and they're charged a phenomenal amount of money for like 2 hours a week. It could be upwards of like 3 or 4, maybe €500 for one session, because it's a pitch based in a sports university, so they kind of have the power to charge whatever they want. So any sports halls like that would be quite expensive. So it's something that we'd like to do, but it's kind of difficult at the moment. But hopefully, if people approach us from Irish people, or even anyone that would like to get involved, it would be an absolute massive help. We're always welcome.
Yeah, we'll have to put the shout out to I forgot which of the clubs it was. It might have been Zaragoza. They were told, I was asking about funding and stuff, and James, who he couldn't remember her name. He just referred to her as American Money was her name. So maybe you guys need to put the shout out for some kind of American Money, I think, as well. So it's you want to ring the IRFU. I think it's who you need to ring if you're paying £500 for like 2 hours in a hall. I think you need to ring them and have a word with them. So I have to ask the trivia as well, Bronagh. Do you remember your debut game?
Yeah, it was probably because we only really have the 2 tournaments a year. Yeah. And I think it was in Vienna. And I think we were playing against Madrid. It was the first game I played with the Warsaw jersey on me. And that was, and we won. So it was good, yeah.
What was your own personal performance like? Do you remember?
God, I don't know. It probably would have been the final in Warsaw in our tournament. Yeah, I think that would have been.
How well did you play? What's your normal position, I should ask as well?
I can play either mid or then I'm a half back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the playmaker of the team, essentially.
You could say that.
Okay.
I'm messing.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, that was a great game. Like everyone was just really focused, and we just dominated. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll have to ask the Madrid lads when they come on about that one. So just to be sure. Luke, do you remember your debut?
Yeah, it was in Rome in 2018 against.
You stayed on the pitch for this one, did you?
Yeah, I actually saved the penalty in my very first game.
Oh, good lad.
I was really proud of. So we ended up. I think we won all our games that day. So across the board, it was a short pitch as well, a short enough pitch. So it was grand when I could boot the ball down nearly towards the other end of the pitch off the cone. No, I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was quite difficult playing in the Roman heat. It was like I think we all came off fairly raw and red after that day, as it was just I think it was like 25 or 28 degrees, which coming from Warsaw, playing in.
You put just put a minus in front of the number, and you've got Warsaw basically.
Yeah, absolutely. But Rome was my first and probably favourite tournament. Yeah,
that's a good one. You're the second goalie to come on and say you've saved a penalty on your debut, because on the other night, Lewis, who was from Colchester, was their goalkeeper, and his debut was he made a penalty save against Valencia. GAA. So you're the second keeper now. And Shane, what about you as a debut?
Yeah, my debut tournament was Rome, the same. And it would have been the same game. I think I was the man to give you your debut penalty. No, it was never a penalty. I'll never admit to it being a penalty, but it was Rome, probably my first tournament, and my favourite tournament had to be the home tournament, just for the drama, the last kick of the game to win it.
Brilliant. Yeah. Do you guys somebody I just kind of thought of there, keeping track of Louth and Mayo and Wicklow football back home? Do you keep an eye much on Sunday game, GAA Go, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I did when it was up running, but now it's just kind of died to death.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I think they're going back training this Monday, so
we'll
get a few trainings before we go back in.
There's only one of us out of the four really who has something to look forward to be honest, and it's not Luke, and it's not you, Bron, and it's not me. So there's only one man here who potentially is going to get to a final of something. So Shane, do you just wait for the All-Ireland quarterfinals and semi-finals to come around?
No, I'd follow it closely.
Okay.
I'd be well invested in it. We'd always have the GAA Go on. No matter who'd be playing, there'd always be a GAA match on the weekend. Even the club matches, we used to put the club matches on.
Deadly.
Here in the house, and I'll be sitting around watching it. I suppose I'm just sweating a bit at the moment about Aidan O'Shea's injury.
I heard about that. Yeah, I haven't heard any updates on it now, to be fair. So Mayo TV and that kind of thing, they were all great jokes. We swore by them over the last year or so as well. Luke, what about you? Do you keep up with Mickey Hart now? Is in charge of Louth, so.
Yeah, well, just I suppose when football started back, whatever 6 months ago, at my own club at home, got to the championship final and won after I think it was 3 or 4 years in a row of losing the final. So I was watching that from over here. I think it was at home for the semi-final, and then college called, so I was back out here and ended up having to watch the final on a broadcasting platform or whatever. So it was
illegal live stream is what you mean. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I suppose I'd follow Louth GAA close as well, because I've a few close friends that play and start on that team as well. So shout out to them. They're a good club as well.
It's a funny one actually, because I had two of Meath's like greatest ever recent legends, Sean Tobin and Mickey Burkham, on the podcast recently, and I abused them about Westmeath beating Meath in 2015, like, because that was the only thing I had on them. But they said, funnily enough, the two counties that hate Meath the most are Westmeath and Louth, and they said they can't understand what Louth have against Meath, because like there's no real, we're not on the same playing pitch in some ways. So have you any answer for it?
The 2010 Leinster final had probably started.
Apart from that, yeah.
I think it's a long running begrudgery that they have against them, but I don't know. I think it's kind of, I suppose, that they're neighbours as well, and there's just a long-standing rivalry, I suppose, between Louth and Meath.
Were you there in 2010?
It wasn't, no. Well, not thankfully or not unthankfully, but no, it wasn't there.
You're probably better off. You probably would have been arrested after the game, like most allowed people were probably for attacking the ref. So for fully justified as well at the same time. So and Bronagh, there's the Wicklow ladies team. Do you follow them much? I had Davy Burke, the Wicklow manager, on, and he was talking about the Wicklow setup. Yeah.
I followed them a good bit now, and I know they won the junior final, I think it was.
That's right.
2019?
19, yep.
Yeah, I do follow them a good bit.
Okay. Yeah, what's the future like then for the ladies team out there?
In Warsaw.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get another few European pans under the belt. Yeah.
Nice.
Because we have a great young team coming up, and I'm just so annoyed that we haven't really tested out the new first year students that have come over. They haven't had any training sessions yet because of COVID. And I feel like there could be a good few young players coming through that we don't even know yet.
Yeah, that's good. You could test them out in different ways, chase them around the field with a hurl, that kind of thing. That'll test them out in other ways. So, and what about you lads? What do you think the future will be when all gets back?
It's a bit unclear at the moment. I suppose it's that long since we've trained, and there's been lads that have qualified. We've lost some savage players, like backbone of the team. But as Bronagh said, it's what the first year is now, what they can bring to it. There's a good few lads, I think, in first year this year. And it's, as Bronagh said, it's such a shame that we haven't been able to train because the club in your first year here is a young fella coming over, a young girl coming over. The club is so important. Just to be meeting people, to have something social, to go and meet other Irish people here. And the club, they look after you, they bring you out, show you where to go, what to study, what not to study. It's just so important for all of us here.
Yeah, that sounds good, Jay. Hopefully when this goes out in July, that you guys will be back winning games and probably have a pan games under your belt. Well, Bronagh is very confident anyway. She's already she's drawn the title there on a piece of paper in the background as we speak. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a little bit of a quick fire round if you guys want to have a go at it before we finish as well. And there's a special for each country. There's a special version added on to the end. So there's a Polish quick fire questions as well. Not in Polish, don't worry. I have I could say hello and goodbye from my time in Poland. That's about it. So I suppose if I ask the lads first, on the men's team, who would be the kind of toughest nut, lunatic / person that you have? There's always one.
Currently or ex-player?
You can name either, it's fine. I'll give you one example, I suppose. Zaragoza's one, and they sent me on photos. Their goalkeeper, Alan, once fell asleep during a game. In the goals, on the goal line. Yeah, so someone along that lines, if you have one.
Toughest nut? I'd have to be McGloin.
Yeah, Sean McGloin.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's a
Roscommon man.
He's a Roscommon man. And he's a hardy man. Yeah,
he's qualified 2 years now. He used to be my cornerback partner, and Jesus, if you got hit by that man, you'd know it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Bronagh, is there a tough nut on the women's team?
Tough nut on the women's team. I'd say now Molly Higgins now. She actually plays up forward, but you just wouldn't get by her. You wouldn't get by her for the life yet.
Okay, we'll take that. So yeah, I have to get the two of them to come on and defend themselves. Does the club have a karaoke go-to song or songs?
Luke Mitchell would be your man.
Right, so go on, Luke. What?
Mitchell loves a bit of karaoke, a bit of Proud Mary.
Oh, nice. Okay. Have you any other preferred songs, Luke, apart from Proud Mary? Or
sure, Kings of Leon or anything like that there, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Something to get the crowd going, yeah.
Okay, sounds good, yeah. What about Bronagh? Would you be more Marty Morrissey or Des Cahill fan?
Des Cahill.
Controversial. Yeah. What about two lads? What about you?
Oh, Marty all the way.
Marty.
The Marty party. Okay, I'll take that, yeah. Who's the toughest team, Bronagh, that you've ever faced?
Probably Berlin with the Warsaw team, yeah. They're the one team that beat us.
Okay. Okay, I'll take that. And the two boys are conferring here up in the corner. Who's the toughest one?
The Warsaw B team.
Nice.
During the Warsaw tournament, we actually got drawn against our B team, so that was fair to play. Yeah, the Warsaw B team. Yeah.
Did you beat them?
We did, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. So, Yaffin actually, just randomly when I think of it, Yaffin never had like an epic comeback, because I'm still kind of, I suppose, stunned. Zaragoza won their games apparently, and I have to look into this. They had needed to win one of their games to qualify by 36 points. They won by 37. Have you ever had anything like that before?
No, probably the most dramatic it would have been the final in Warsaw when I screwed up. But because going behind and then with a man down, and then just pure bottle from the lads, like the neck on them to come back and undo what I did. They unbelievable. But it was Berlin. Yeah, it was Berlin we played, and Berlin are a serious outfit for an international team. They're fantastic footballers, but credit to the lads for coming back. That was probably one of our best comebacks, even though it was only 2 points. But
yeah, still impressive though. Still impressive. Yeah. If you could take on Bronagh, one county in Ireland, the Warsaw Ladies versus somebody, who would you take on?
I think we'd have a great chance against, I'm going to say the Kildare side, the Kildare women's team. Yeah.
Oh, I know a couple of them. That's interesting. I'm going to ask them about that. And lads, who would you most like a crack against?
Have to be the Dubs, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just to say, just
to say, you played against some of probably the best footballers in the world, or Gaelic footballers in the world. It'd be nice to be able to join the pitch with them.
Yeah. So Luke against Stephen Cluxton, and Shane against would you be marking Dean Rock? Would it be
Dean Rock or Con Catalan?
Oh yeah, you'd take them no bother. They're only average players. So, what's the one thing that people should know who haven't been to Warsaw? What's the one thing Warsaw is great for, Bronagh?
I'd say drinking. That would be one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll give you my answer in a minute. But anyway, Luke and Shane, what about you?
Yeah, the nightlife. It's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like compared to at home, like you finish up at whatever 2:30 or 3, but 3 be still going at 6 or 7 in the morning.
Okay, sounds like an Irish wedding. It sounds like an Irish wedding every weekend more than anything else. So yeah,
absolutely.
The highlight I had, I don't know, was it Warsaw or Krakow or where it was, but cheese. Oh, €3 cheese boards. I was in my element. I was just eating cheese as if it was going out of fashion. Unbelievable.
In general, it's a very cheap country, so we're kind of lucky as students as well. It kind of helps a lot that go into a pub and get a pint for €1, like, you know.
Jesus, that's impressive. Luke or Shane, what's your favourite Father Ted episode? Don't tell me you don't watch it. I love it. I'll take it. Yeah.
When the two boys are lying in the bed, Ted and Dougal are lying in the bed. That's just that's it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Bronagh, have you a favourite Father Ted?
Isn't there one that he uses like a brick as like the phone?
Yep. Yeah, the brick is the keeps the accelerator going in the milk fan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my one.
Take that one. So lovely. I'll save that question. The other one I have to the end. The Polish extra ones. Would you choose, lads, Warsaw or home?
Home.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't beat home.
Can't beat home. Yeah. Bronagh, Wicklow or Warsaw?
I'd probably pick Wicklow. Yeah.
Wicklow. Okay, I'll take that. You're gonna have to excuse my pronunciations here, but is it Overzanek Krakowski? Is that the pastry? That's famous in Warsaw. Apparently, nice. You don't know it? No. Okay. I was googling this. I was trying to remember I ate it, but I didn't know what it was called. The local pastries or a loaf of brown bread from at home?
Loaf of brown bread for me, definitely.
Okay. Loaf of brown bread all day.
Nice.
Has to be white sliced.
I'll take that. The Perla or the beer in Warsaw or Guinness back home?
I'd say Guinness. Yeah, love good Guinness.
Okay.
I'm a Guinness fan. I'm a huge Guinness fan, but Polish beer. I have to say I like Polish beer. There's just good taste off it. So
okay.
I'm more of a Smiths man with a Guinness head.
Right. Okay. Take that. So, Robert Lewandowski or Diarmuid Connolly?
Lewandowski.
I knew you'd say that. Bronagh.
Diarmuid Connolly now.
Diarmuid Connolly. Okay. Yeah. And probably the most important question that I'll ask you at all: Pope John Paul II or Father Ted Crilly?
Father Ted Crilly.
Father Ted.
Take that one good. Consensus all around. The last question I'll ask you, Luke, if I ask you first, who's the greatest GAA player ever in your lifetime, in your opinion?
From watching, Geez, there's so many, but
you can't say Samuel, right?
No, I'll probably say Stephen Cluxton, sure, being a goalkeeper myself, but the fact of how long he's been going and his record and just everything about him, it's just fantastic.
Class. Okay, Shane, what about you?
Have to be Kieran McDonald.
Yeah, I love him. I'm dying to get him on the podcast to chat with him. I'd say there'll be some crack with him. So, just the greatest left foot ever, along with maybe Porrick Joyce and that kind of thing. But he's definitely up there as one of the greatest ever, for sure.
Class act.
Yeah, class act. And Bronagh, what about you? Greatest GAA player ever?
Greatest GAA player ever. I would say.
You're giving a shout out to the ladies here now, but
ladies, yeah, I would say.
But
the Mayo footballer Sarah Rowe, I think she's class.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting her on the podcast either, to be honest. Yeah, have a good chat with her. Yeah. She's a quality player in fairness as well. So, guys, look, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate giving up your time. I probably should have asked you a question at the end, like, cats or dogs, since you're all vet students, but I didn't know whether that was like, because if people just assume it's cats and dogs, I know from the vet down the road here, it's clearly the job is a lot more of it than just cats and dogs. So, I'll save you. Well, go on, Luke. Cats or dogs? Go on. You might as well answer it.
Sure, dogs. Yeah,
dogs. Okay.
Those trusty dogs. Yeah.
Shane, you go for the dogs.
I'd say cows.
Cows.
No, I'd have to go cows.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, Bronagh, what about you then?
I'm dogs. Yeah.
Dogs. Okay, definitely take it on that. So, lads, look, thanks so much, and thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It was great out crack, and I'll keep in touch with you as well. The last thing I have to ask you, actually, I asked the others. Can you buy your top anywhere?
Yeah, we have all of our gear is on the O'Neill's website, so it's Cumann Warszawa, and you can get it all there. There's some actually savage jerseys and training tops, jumpers, there's everything on it. It's great.
Yeah, lads, look, thanks so much, and I'll keep in touch. I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
mind yourself, not at all.
Jason.
Yeah, mind yourselves. Take it easy. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye. Slán.
Coming up the next day on the Loaf of Bread GAA Global, we cut into our next slice. Do you remember your debut, Conor, your first game?
I believe it was up in Shanghai actually. Didn't really know what to expect. At the time when I arrived, we weren't blessed with many numbers. We weren't blessed with, no offense intended, but there weren't many good football teams. So it was a bit of a baptism of fire. But just the thing that kind of struck me about it was you're playing with people from all over the world and all over Ireland, and it was just a really kind of positive experience. I was kind of fresh off the boat at the time, so I would have been playing a bit at home, and I was able to fit in over here, which was nice.
On Slice 6 of GAA Global, I fly out of Europe and across the globe to meet Conor and Jesse in Suzhou Aerogue in China. We chat all things Suzhou, the rivalries in China GAA and beyond, Jesse getting into the GAA as an Australian, and much more, including answering the vital question that's on everyone's mind. The Chinese. Are they a great bunch of lads? That's next Thursday morning from 9 AM as we continue the journey with 2 slices a week. I'll see you at the arrivals hall, but until then, check out the various clubs on the Instagram page and see all the amazing work they do and some of the nicest GAA gear going. Slán.